Phil Heath 2013, Derek Lunsford 2023. 10 years in the making. Just seems like yesterday Phil Heath won that Olympia in 2013. You guys requested this one and voted for it. Hit thumbs up on this video, get it up to 500 likes, and I will do the rest of the requests. A couple of interesting ones there for sure. But anyway, you guys have already started in the comment section below. You know, Derek's never going to come close to defeating Phil Heath on anything. We are very quick, and I'm guilty of it too. We are very quick to criticize the brand new champions. Oh, they're not as good as Ronnie King Coleman. Listen, guys, and I'm talking to myself as well. Yes, us schizophrenics do that. Derek Lunsford, he's not all that bad. He has some world-class body parts. Did I have Hadi Choopan winning? By watching the live stream and looking at the pictures, I had him winning slightly. But I also said if they give it to Derek, would not complain. And that is, that's all I got to say about that, guys. Here is the front double, which is a strong pose for both guys. Phil Heath, dominant in the arm department, and I mean dominant. Size, muscle separation. What do you want? Look at those forearms. Legendary forearms. When was the last time you got excited about a forearm? Triceps. Some of the best, of course, but we can go on and on about the arms. What about the torso heap? The torso of Derek Lunsford is so much better than Phil Heath. And no, I'm not speaking sacrilege to you Phil Heathites. In fact, if you give Derek Lunsford's torso heap to Phil Heath, he'd have been still Olympia champion, I think. Look at that. I'd beat Ronnie King Coleman. But anyway, foolishness. Us fans, right? But anyway. Derek, he has an awesome torso heap. But the fact that he's losing in the wheels and in the arm department, I think I will side with Phil Heath in the front double bicep pose. But this guy, Derek, he's not as, bad as you guys are saying in the comment section below. He gets an awful bashing. Lats, hey, innocent until proven guilty. Alright, you know what I'm saying on that aspect? Here's the front lat spread, and speaking of lats, wink wink, speaking of lats, hey, if he's guilty as charged, then he would lose the front double. Maybe. Still looks great. Derek, he improved on this shot, I think. He improved his midsection separation, chest as well. He's got a much wider clavicle than the bigger guy, Phil Heath. So there is an argument that he could take Phil in the front lat spread, but I would argue against that. I think Phil is a monster. 2013, his midsection was not at a whack yet. It was, I'd say Derek's midsection in this pose looks better. In this pose. And the lats are more thick and, what do they say? 3-dimensional. They look very 3-dimensional, and if you can see it from a picture, my soul, my kingdom, for a victory in both of the front shots for Phil. But close. Derek's not getting brutalized. Turn to the side. Derek Lunsford. And, right after the Olympia, everybody, oh, Derek, he has synthol in his lats. He's not as good. And even me, I was saying he's got a little Buddha belly. Phil had a little rounder there, too, in the bottom half of the belly in 2013. Not so much in 2011, but 2013 he did. And Derek maybe a little softer in the midsection, you can see. But the lower half of Derek, he makes Phil look like he's 2 weeks out. Notice I didn't go too far with it. 2 weeks out, Phil. The lower half, that thin skin, what's thinner than onion skin? The little layer of skin that you can kind of peel off of the good piece of the onion. Or is there a little thin layer of that on the onion skin itself? That's what Derek Lunsford has on the side of this wheel. It's unbelievable. Still, though, Phil, I think he is pushing through on muscle alone. Side tricep. Now, they both kind of have that lower half midsection. A little bit kind of going... Little bit, anyway. Not too bad. But you compare it with guys like Dorian Yates, things of that nature, and even Hadi Choopan. Now, that's a midsection you can write home about. But everything aside from that, Derek, he is a mini Phil Heath in this one. And that's not an insult. To be called an anything Phil Heath is a compliment in bodybuilding. He's just a little bit smaller of a frame. As you could see from the front, he was wider clavicle, so he's bigger in that sense, but Phil, bigger all over. So here's the question. Do you give it to the more thinly skinned man in the lower half, or the more evenly conditioned, more bigger and muscly, or his muscles are more muscly, Phil Heath? I'd go with Phil in both side. But guys, Derek's going against the greatest bodybuilder, one of them, maybe second best bodybuilder of all time. And in the back shot, and here's where you have to brace yourself, you Phil Heathites. Derek Lunsford is doing better in this shot than in any other shot. In fact, might even go ahead and give him this one. Based on condition of the lower half, Phil absolutely beating Derek in the three-dimensional thickness of the traps. But, it was always the same thing with him and Kai. Kai was wider, but he was flatter. He didn't have the muscle separation in the back. But Derek, he's a different creature than Kai Green altogether. And he might have been a little less conditioned than Phil. Derek, I gotta say, look at that thin skin of the glutes and the hamstrings. Wow. Close. Phil, lower back, a little bit tighter. Who's wider? Looks like Derek is. Rear double bicep. Dare I say, Derek, he's doing better in this shot than he was in the rear lat. And you people, me, myself included, I underestimated this guy. I figured, he's destroying everybody in the 2023 lineup in the back shots. But I mean, the rest of them's not the best in the world. This rear double is standing up to, I know there's a lot of you Phil Heathites, and I don't want to say he's beating Phil, but you guys have eyes. You guys can see. Lower back's a little tighter in this one for Derek than the rear lat spread. Unbelievable. Matching Phil Heath on the delts, traps, lats, glutes, everything. What do you want? Phil beating him on the triceps and in the forearms. And height. But width goes to Derek, my soul. What do you want? Balance for the lower half to be a little bit bigger, or would you like the upper half to be a little bit bigger? Because that's the question here if you want to know who the more balanced guy is. What a matchup. Abs and thigh. This is also a close one. I mean, finalization, of course. The front and side shots. Phil's the man. But after that, Derek was battling it out. He's not getting knocked out. Abs. Who has a better set of abs here? Derek has the much better silhouette. That's for darn sure. And the quads, maybe not the best for Derek this year. I think his hamstrings were out of control. Good, I mean. And from the side, his wheels were mind-boggling. But from the front, I don't know. Oh, when Derek pulls if you're going to put it that way, all right, we'll go ahead and probably give Derek the abs and thigh shot based on the vacuum shot. I agree with it. A lot of people don't agree with it. And like I said, innocent until proven guilty. We seen his lats were bulbous like last year, but not as big. So could be a situation where he just has big lats. Somebody's going to comment, "Are you blind, Marks Max Muscle?" Well, no, that has nothing to do with my eyesight. It have to do with my perception, not my eyesight. So you people criticizing my eyesight, it has nothing to do with my eyes. If I perceive something wrong, it has to do with, perception. And there is no way you can perceive Phil Heath losing the most muscular. There is just no bloody bleemin' way. So there's a lot of shots that are very close. I'd even side with Derek, but there's probably a couple more that Phil's just destroying Derek, like in this one. Like in the most muscular pose. So at the end of the day, we're going to give a crab position. And I did a Derek Lunsford comparison before where I showed another crab position, and I have to apologize to Derek Lunsford himself. That was a bad crab position. I think the timing was off because he looks a little A lot. I'll go as far as say he looks a lot better in this version of it. But Phil Heath just has mountains on top of mountains of muscle. And that's why he is one of the greatest of all time. And to Derek, you're the Olympia champion now. People are going to be jealous of what you have because, 18 guys ever to have this title, they're going to be jealous. They're going to be the first to critique you. It doesn't really matter, does it? And at the end of the day, they did the same thing to Brandon Curry. Not so much Big Ramy, but to Hattie Shupin. And now, the critique and the title and everything that goes along with it gets passed on to Derek Lunsford. Hit thumbs up on the video. Phil Heath was a 7-time Mr. Olympia champion for a reason. He's one of the greatest of all time. And he'll go down in history of being the benchmark of quality in bodybuilding. Coleman's bigger, too. Hit thumbs up, subscribe. Have a nice one.